Okay, so we're here for the TOSAs and the tech leaders collaborating to revolutionize learning. The URL is here and the QR code. So let's meet your panel. I'm Heather Haggerty. I'm Manager of Technology Integration for the Campbell Union School District. I've been working for Campbell for about 21 years, and I really enjoy it.
I'm Lindsey Blass, and I'm a Math and Technology Integration Coach for the Campbell School District with Heather. This is my first year in a TOSA role, so I used to teach both middle school and elementary school.
I'm Mary Frances Lynch. I am a Technology Integration TOSA for the Union School District. I was with the Union School District for 12 years. The first 10 years I was a third grade teacher. In 2008, I had my third graders making PowerPoints, and I was told that that was way too hard for them, but we didn't listen. We just went on from there.
And I'm Genevieve Pacada, and I'm in Instructional Technology TOSA, just like Mary Fran, in the Union School District. And this is my first year in this position, but I've also, like Lindsey, taught both elementary and middle school.
Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew Schwab. I'm Chief Technology Officer for Union School District, and I'm here for moral support, so that's why I'm hanging over here on the end.
Thank you, Andrew, for being here. So an overview. Today we will be talking about district ed tech structures, the collaboration between Union and Campbell Union School District, cross-district collaboration with multiple districts, and then questions from the audience. Today we will have a Today's Meet as a back channel. We'll be checking that. At the time we will answer questions, and at the end we will have time for questions also. So let's get started.
Just a reminder with the Today's Meet, if you didn't catch the URL the first time, we have the URL for our slides on almost every slide that we'll have up here, so you can still jump into the Today's Meet on the slides there, because we really want to get your questions while we go through this.
How does your district promote leadership in ed tech?
So we wanted to share with you, before we start diving into questions and dialogue, just a little bit about what's going on in our districts, so that you can sort of compare it to yours, think about what we've got going on, we can hear what you've got going on. So talking about TOSA structures in districts, I think what's been so unique in our district and districts everywhere right now is that leadership isn't just from the top down anymore, that teachers are really getting a voice in what's happening in instruction. Imagine that, it's a beautiful thing. So we wanted to share with you the structure that our district has. We are very, very, very TOSA, yay, forward, many TOSAs. So I decided that a flowchart might explain it best here, because we have 5 district level TOSAs. If you look, the district level TOSAs, they're reporting directly to instructional services. So we have 2 math tech TOSAs, a STEAM TOSA, and then 2 ELA TOSAs as well. And so these TOSAs, and I'm one of these TOSAs, every week we get to sit in on the instructional services meetings, really let them know what's happening, out on that ground level, and bring in our thoughts and perspectives. But then there's also 12 site TOSAs, and we work very closely with our site TOSAs in our district. There's one at each site, and they're called equity coaches, or equity, what was it that Carippo said in his? We're not coaches, we are concierges. I think we're going to change that, right? We've got 12 equity concierges and some district level concierges as well. So they're reporting to an admin on special assignment, but they're also working in collaboration with us to make sure that we're bringing that teacher voice back to the instructional services department. But then the tech leadership extends a little bit further than that in our district. We also have at each site a classroom teacher, so a teacher that is still teaching full-time, that receives a stipend as a site technology integration coach. And so you'll see here, we've got sort of the shared tech leadership within our district. Our director of technology, Chris Izor, works with Heather, our manager of technology, along with our district TOSA team, to sort of, do all those things that a district needs to do to move forward in technology. Come up with a district technology plan, come up with training, professional development models, stay current on the latest resources. But then what we do is we have regular meetings with these site technology coaches, and we help them implement the plan. So whether that is planning professional development with them and facilitating it with them, or just, providing them with the latest tools that we've been gathering, since we all know as a classroom teacher, you only have so much research time, so much gather time, and just sort of helping support whatever their site professional development initiatives are. We support that. So is there one that we should take?
Do the equity coaches teach?
That's a good question. So the equity coaches that we referenced in this slide, they are full-time TOSAs. So they do not teach. I believe one or two of them will teach perhaps like an ELD class, 1 or 2 classes, but otherwise they're full-time site TOSAs. And we just wanted to get in the voice of one of our site technology coaches, just because we believe that these teachers that are also doing this extra work to promote tech integration at the site have a really powerful role. So we asked them about how they feel their role plays out.
I feel like we have a lot of validity when we do go to meetings and they do ask us our opinions and we let them know what's going on, how's it working. They really take what we are saying back because we're actually doing it, we're implementing it, we're integrating it, and coming back to them and saying, here's what's working, here's what's not, and here are some solutions. And they take those solutions back and we see them every day.
In order to be an effective tech coach, I really feel like I need to model for them that mindset of being open to new experiences and trying new things and working through problems that I'm not familiar with. And being able to share them with the rest of the staff.
So that's just a little bit of their voice there. And I see some really good questions are coming. And one of them is, how did you get your DO or admin to see the need for TOSAs? The equity TOSAs, which there was another question around that. The reason that they're called equity TOSAs is, they're really working to provide that differentiation, that instruction for all to support the students in learning. So whether that is supporting ELD initiatives or supporting use of formative assessment in the classroom, that's the idea behind the equity TOSA role. But in terms of the district TOSA role, I actually did have to walk into human resources last year, and I wrote out a job description. And I know some of my other TOSA friends here in the middle have done similar things, where I said, and I was a site technology coach at that time, so a teacher doing site tech work, and I said, we have all this stuff that we need to do. It really needs to happen. Here's a whole list of roles that a teacher on special assignment could do to support the district in moving forward with tech integration. And the district, put their heads together, and they came up, since I was a math teacher, with the math technology coach role. Not that they created it for me, but they created that role thinking, this really is a role that our district could use, and they also created an elementary position. So those of you in that position, don't be afraid to walk into your district and tell them, we need this, but be prepared to sort of back it up with evidence and data and what you're looking at putting forward. You guys next?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the Union School District TOSA structure, and ours is very, very different from Campbell Union, but I think that a key ingredient that makes our structure work is that we work for technology services and we report directly to our CTO, Andrew Schwab, which is a huge reason why I feel like we've been really successful. He's helped us go one-to-one with Chromebooks in 2nd through 8th grade, and then by next year we'll be one-to-one iPads in K1. So we are a K8 district. And let's see, so because of, or as a result of having all these devices in the hands of students and teachers, we've actually grown from having one instructional technology TOSA, and that was Mary Fran last year, to now we have 3 instructional technology TOSAs, and this year we're piloting an elementary STEAM TOSA. So that TOSA she's site-based, she's working with the classroom teachers, and her students are coming in, classroom teachers are bringing their students into her STEAM lab so that they can do makerspace lessons, project lead the way, project-based learning. And we're actually moving to we'll have 5 more STEAM TOSAs next year in all of our elementary schools. So that's our TOSA structure model, but a key ingredient that actually makes it work is the fact that we have tech leaders at each school site, and Mary Fran's going to tell you a little bit about that.
Right, so our district has never been really big on TOSAs. So we have not had math TOSAs or ELA TOSAs. So we have now 3 tech TOSAs, and again, we report into technology integration. And we also have 1 STEAM TOSA, and those STEAM TOSAs will also be reporting in to our department. So what we have instead is really focused on a teacher leader model. And so we have teacher leaders in both math, language arts, soon to be science teacher leaders, and we also have a number of tech teacher leaders. And our tech teacher leader model is one that we feel has been really successful. We've run it for 3 years, and so you can see we have tech 1s, tech 2s, and tech 3s. Pretty much teachers self-select. They say, this is something that I'm really interested in doing. I want to learn more about technology and how to integrate it into my classroom. Now the great thing is because they are classroom teachers, they will do things in their classroom, and then their responsibility is to share it with their colleagues at grade level and at school sites. So we've been running it, like I said, for 3 years. So Tech 1 teacher leaders, it's really pretty much focused on tools. We bring them into a mini Krause or mini Merit at the Krause Center at Foothill, and they have a 1-week immersive, very immersive during the summer training where they're learning a lot about the tools. And so in those classes, we're really looking for substitution and augmentation, and it very naturally happens. The second year, if they choose to go on, they then become Tech 2 teacher leaders, and at that point, they really pretty much have those tools down, and they themselves are the people who are saying, now how can I modify my lessons so I can start moving my students ahead? And here's also where we start asking the teachers to present what they're learning in their classrooms at a wider scope. And so last year, I'm really proud to say that at Fall Q, we had 15 teachers present at Fall Q. So I think that that really speaks very highly of our teacher leader model. And then in 3rd year, we have our teachers who are really, they're working on very fluidly implementing one-to-one in their classrooms. And we walk into those classrooms and we take inspiration from them. And we then are able to go out and to share with what they're doing with other teachers in the district. So someone had a question here that said, you know, if you hang out at the district, if your office is at the district, how do you avoid being looked at as part of the administration? And we have been really, really conscious of that. And that's part of the reason why we choose not to be called coaches. We very specifically talk about how we are teachers on special assignment. We're teachers first. And we work with the teachers and we try to help them move their practice ahead.
One of the questions here is, how does your instructional services department collaborate with IT? So I'm manager of technology integration for the district, and I supervise our technology professionals that go out to the schools. And my job for about the last 5 years has been working very closely with our director of instructional technology, and collaborating that with them so that we're all on the same page, so that we're ordering the same devices, so that we have a common goal. And I think that's what's made us pretty successful.
Yeah, so in our district, I'm the CTO, which is an assistant superintendent position. So I work very closely with the assistant superintendent services. We have weekly meetings. We're pretty much joined at the hip. And I have ed tech and tech under me as well. So if they don't play together, I just make them.
Okay. Another question was, how many students in your school district? Our population is about 7,900.
And we have about 6,300? Well, 5,700, sorry. That's a big difference.
Okay. What types of professional development do you provide your teachers? What are you looking to expand?
So just to speak a little bit to the professional development that we have around technology, because we will have other content-specific PDs happening in our district. iTeach is our big one, and this is actually what got me into ed tech. It was, 6 years ago that we ran the first iTeach? Every year, we do this week-long sort of institute that builds this cohort-type model of tech-forward, forward-thinking educators that can work together. And it's more of a mind shift institute than it is a tech institute. We do provide them with exposure to the tools and the latest practices and everything like that. But it's more about shifting your mindset and how it is that you teach. And so I got involved with that 6 years ago when I didn't even know that you could put audio to a PowerPoint. It was, this whole different world that I discovered and jumped into with Heather here. We also provide advanced STEAM offerings, a lot of learning circles where we'll survey teachers and see what it is that they want to learn about and provide a series type PD so that there can be sort of follow-up to whatever we've supplied them with. We do appy hours, which I know a lot of people out there are doing appy hours where I think Jody with a Y over there is the big appy hour queen, Jody Green, if you don't follow her. So we do a lot of things where teachers can explore different apps, get exposure to the tools, just like Google tools. We do a lot of beginner Google sessions, advanced Google sessions, since we are a Google Apps for Ed district. The big thing with the TOSA role, I think, is that we're able to provide job-embedded support after we've provided professional development. So we would never deliver a PD and then just say, hey, good luck with that. Let us know how it all went, right? When we deliver professional development and a teacher says, I am so excited to try this in my classroom, we pull out our calendars and say, great, when are you trying this in your classroom? I'll be there to support you. Do you want to co-teach it? Do you want me to just hang back and help? Let me know if there's any parts you're not comfortable with, and I'm happy to jump in. And so that way we make sure that the tools really get launched into instruction. Probably the most revolutionary thing we've done to this point in professional development, and it doesn't sound like the change in the world, but it's shifting something in PD. We're doing Voxer book clubs. So for those of you not familiar with Voxer, it's a walkie-talkie app on your phone or on your computer. And what we actually got our district to agree to is they bought teachers' books. Like right now with my math teachers, we're reading Joe Bowler's Mathematical Mindsets. So they bought teachers a book if they wanted to participate. And if teachers provide, we had to quantify it. So if they provide at least 10 contributions to the Voxer chat, and substantial contributions, not just, yes, I agree with what Leisha was saying, at least 10 contributions to the chat, they get paid for 2 hours of their time, because that's professional development. They're at home, they're reading a book, they're sharing their thoughts, they're sharing their ideas, talking about how they see it playing out in their classroom. So that's the first sort of stab at flipped professional development that we've had, because it's an asynchronous tool. I wake up at 5 a.m., that's when I'm doing my contributions. Other people, when they're going to bed at night, or when they've just put the kids to bed, they're like, oh, now I can go back and share my thoughts in that group, listen to it while you're driving. So it's kind of shifting things up, changing how we're doing it. There's also outside professional development. We're really big fans of the Q Rockstar camps. We're really trying to get all of our teachers, teacher leaders through that system. Silicon Valley Q, National Q this year, we were able to bring our largest group yet, about 15 teachers. And really encouraging teachers to get certifications and paying for those certifications, like Leading Edge certification, Professional Learning Leader, Google certifications as well. Oh, yeah.
So a question came up. You want to get in, you're a site tech lead, and you want to get into the classroom, and you're wondering how to do that and how to facilitate that. In our district, we offer 3 days of release time for our tech integration coaches, where they go and they put a schedule together, and they'll go, first period here, second period there, or one full, they have a schedule of what they need to do. That seems like it's working out really well in our district. What about you, Andrew?
I'll let you guys talk about it.
Right. So we do a couple of different things. So the first thing is our Tech 2s and Tech 3s also get 3 release days each year. So we will pay for them to come out of the classroom, and they can go into other classrooms, or they can also pull other people out. So we will pay for them and the people that they're going to be working with that day to come out of the classroom, and then to maybe go and visit other classrooms. But in addition to that, there's 3 Tech TOSAs, and each of our Tech TOSAs have adopted a classroom. So Jenna has adopted a classroom of a 5th grade teacher. I also have a 5th grade teacher, and Nicole D'Alessio, who's also one of our coaches, she has adopted a 3rd grade. So what that means is we go into that classroom on a weekly basis, and that teacher goes out and in his or her site they are coaching and going into the classrooms of other teachers at their site. And we find that really valuable because not only are we getting to have a classroom that we have an ongoing relationship with, but then we're also building the capacity and the coaching. And we try not to use the word coaching, but we're also building the capacity and coaching skills of those teachers that we're releasing.
Can I just say one more? So one of the things when we first brought Mary Fran on board that I was very conscious of is we didn't go out and advertise that, hey, we now have a TOSA, and we didn't do scheduled visit time with teachers in their classroom. We let it grow organically, and so as Mary Fran got out into classrooms through invitation, her reputation spread, and she got more teachers asking to have her out in their classroom. And so we've maintained that model even with the additional TOSAs. And now it's teachers basically just contact the TOSAs and say, hey, I'd like you to come into our classroom, and they work out the schedule. So we don't have an assignment model. It's not mandatory top-down. It's all very organic.
So before I pass it on to Union here, we also wanted to talk about, we do recognize that professional development, in order to make it truly individualized, there will need to be some shifts as we move forward. So just wanted to bring in, since he couldn't be here today, our Director of Instructional Technology, Chris Izor, just with his take on the future of professional development in our district, and then I'll speak a little bit to it.
And so individualizing, personalizing the learning through online, on-demand professional development. I think you're going to see the traditional sit and get professional development go to the wayside, and that people are going to start to seek out different ways and different opportunities for professional development, that they'll be looking to take courses or learn things online, that maybe they'll work for stipends, but also that they're working for things like badging, and to move up in terms of their own certification when it comes to professional development.
All right, so Chris touched on where we're going, that we really want to individualize our professional development more. We're looking at giving learning experiences that really meet the needs of the learner, because not all of us are able to go to a sit and get professional development after school, and most of us are not able to sit and process the majority of what's delivered at a sit and get professional development. So while we've tried to sort of shake up how we do PD and build egg camps into it and, do all that sort of stuff that makes the professional development itself more engaging, we realize that we need to start offering opportunities outside of these times where we are all physically together in one space if we're really going to maximize professional development for our teachers. So we're looking at really building in synchronous and asynchronous offerings. So what we mean with that is we want to start offering flipped professional development, looking into platforms that support that, ways that we can roll it out effectively. We want to gather in-house examples, because we all know in all of our districts, there's those classrooms that you walk in and you're like, this is brilliant, and I wish every teacher in the district could see what's happening right now and could see their colleague in action to know that this is possible with our kids, right? That you really can do this in this type of learning environment that we're running. So we're looking at gathering those sort of in-house examples from our teacher, getting video going of our teachers and building our PD around that. Offering professional development via Google Hangouts so that teachers don't need to be physically present. They can be cooking dinner and doing whatever else they need to do at 4:30 p.m. while they're attending professional development. Also expanding our use of Voxer for book club studies, and also looking into other social tools that we can use. And just ways that, I think Chris touched on this in his video, ways that we can acknowledge that outside learning that takes place. Because I know as I look around this room, there's so many people here that I have learned from, whether it was from Twitter, Voxer, whether it was a friend that said, hey, I'm doing this PD for my district, come join my Google Hangout, and I sat in on a Google Hangout for another district. Ways that we can acknowledge that teachers learn outside the classroom, just like our students learn outside the classroom, so do our teachers. So looking for ways, though, because we obviously need some sort of demonstration of that growth, or of that acquisition of new skills. So looking for ways that we can establish that demonstration, and then systems for acknowledging it. So, Chris briefly touched on badging. We've been looking into badging systems, as I know many people have here at CUE, but also just some interesting talks been coming up lately with the National Education Technology Plan and the references to micro-credentialing in it, and how systems like badging can align with that, and what role micro-credentialing plays in the future. So we're just trying to stay informed and gather everything we can from everyone around us.
So I have a question probably for Union. Love the idea of organic PD, but there will still be some teachers who will not partake in this. How do you motivate them?
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about this. We have 73 site tech leads at each school site. So that means that we have more teachers who are going to be encouraged to do this next year. So every year, we have more and more teachers who want to participate in this program. They see more and more tech use in the classroom, and they're starting to get more interested in doing it. So it's never been top down for us, but I think it's just starting to spread. And as we're going one-to-one in devices in all grade levels, the teachers are now just starting to feel like, oh no, I have all these devices. I don't want them just to sit in the corner. I better find out how to do something with them. And whether that's call up any of the tech TOSAs, or, there are so many tech leaders at their site that they can just go to and ask, hey, how are you doing this in your classroom? Can you kind of give me some advice? So we're seeing more and more of that happening as we get further and further into this.
And I just want to clarify, we don't have 73 tech leaders at each site. We have 73 district-wide, which averages anywhere from 2 to 4 per site, depending. Some sites have 10 or 12. Again, that's part of the organic process. It's an application. They apply. So some schools have more, some schools have less, and it varies over the years. But I did want to answer another question. There was a question about Future Ready and are we using the Future Ready framework. If you're not familiar with the Future Ready Pledge, there's a framework from the Department of Ed. We don't specifically follow it with our program. We can map a lot of what we're doing to the framework, so it's a good kind of check and balance for us. And we did sign the pledge, but it's not really driving what we're doing.
So I want to talk about the Union School District professional development opportunities. And when I look at the district professional opportunities, a lot of this is driven by our tech teacher leaders. So we have our tech teacher leaders, there are 73 of them, and one of the things that we ask them to do is to present to their colleagues 2 different ways. One is called Union University, and this is giving them their first opportunity to present on something, like I said, they're really passionate about and something that's worked in their classroom. They can present in groups of 2 to 3, and they present in one of the teacher classrooms. So it's kind of really, we try to make it really low stress. All of the teachers in the district are invited, as are teachers from our neighboring districts. They're also invited to come. Those teachers will also present those same ideas at their grade level through our Common Core learning sessions. So we have 4 Common Core learning sessions every year. They're after school, essentially PDs, and they're asked to present those same things in 20-minute intervals. So what ends up happening is that our teachers are having lots of opportunities to spread what they're learning, but also those teachers who may be a little bit reluctant about technology, they're hearing from their colleagues, in grade level meetings and site level meetings about the things that are working in their classrooms. And so it really has helped spread, because honestly, when I first moved in, so somebody else here, a couple people have said, I'm the only tech TOSA in my district. How does it work? So I took the job as tech TOSA at the back to school meeting that everybody gets introduced. Andrew did not introduce me. He says it was by mistake. I think it was by design because he never put out an email. Literally, it was very organic. He said, you're going to start working in a couple teachers' classrooms, people that you know, and word's going to spread, and we're going to see whether or not this model works. But the only reason our model works is because we have so many tech teacher leaders on the ground. And so the other thing that we do that I think is we do a lot of the same things that Campbell does, but one of the things that we do a little bit differently is we also have book clubs. They have a Voxer book club. We actually meet. We jigsaw different books. We were able to have a Google Hangout with Pernell Ripp, who is the author of Passionate Learners, and we have one set up with Jen Roberts, who is the author, along with Diane Nebel, of Power Up. So we also have that. So, and it's great because we do it by Google Hangout, which means that our teachers can participate in groups from the school site. We had a teacher who kind of beamed in from Starbucks. Somebody else is at home with their kids. And so the teachers have lots of opportunities, kind of low-level professional development. But we also then have our outside professional development, and we, along with Campbell, have presented these EdTech Innovation Summits. And these EdTech Innovation Summits bring in a lot of the speakers that you've heard here today. I mean, we bring in people like John Carippo and Will Kimball and
Lisa
Highfill. Who else? I mean, just tons of people. Great. We had Caitlin Tucker, and Alice Keeler has come. And so these are these are people. We have mini conferences that are just pretty much for our district, and we run it with our teachers being able to come and to choose what kind of topics that they want to go to. And that has been really huge because we're treating our teachers as the professionals that they really are, right? No more, this is what we're going to do. We're bringing in this product, and all of you teachers are going to sit and you're going to learn it and you're going to do it in your classroom. That's really not what we're doing with EdTech. What we're doing with EdTech, like we said, is we're trying to make it much more organic, something that teachers are saying, me too. I want to do that also. And the other thing is that I think it's really important that we have been able to send teachers to a lot of professional development outside of our district as well. We've sent people to SVQ, to Fall Q, and this year at National Q, we have a representation of 30 teachers that we've brought from San Jose.
Okay, I have a really great question. Do you find that people game the system with flipping PD? They do the PD, but they're checked out. They're running the video while they're grading papers.
So I just wanted to respond to that because I did mention that if we do start implementing flipped PD on a regular basis, that we are going to need to build in some type of accountability system. And just like those of you that have done the badging that is happening here at the conference, the badging requires you to submit evidence, to submit proof. I almost feel like we can build in stronger accountability with flipped professional development than we do with traditional sit and get professional development, because you can say, submit evidence, tell us what you learned, tell us how this will impact your instruction. Now submit an artifact from your classroom that demonstrates how this impacted your instruction. And so that really is a way that if you do choose to implement flipped professional development, and as we research what an effective model would look like, we realize that evidence will be sort of crucial in making it a successful system.
And we've actually started this in our school district. We tried our very first Flip PD. I put all the instructions in Google Classroom. I made a hyperdoc, so Lisa Highfill inspired hyperdoc of learning in the form of a game board. So anything that we wanted the teachers to learn, there are links to tutorials, there's places to submit evidence of their learning, and they did it on their own time. They joined my Google Classroom. I sent an email out to teachers so that they could join, and they submitted their work. And I reviewed it, I gave them feedback, and it ended up being really, really successful. So this is something that we plan on doing more of in the future. Another way we've done kind of flipped learning is having live Google Hangouts on air. And this started because a middle school teacher came up to me and said, I hear a lot about blogging, but I'm kind of nervous about starting it with my students. I know that there are other teachers in the district. Is there some way that we can have them all get together so we can learn about different blogging platforms? And as we put our heads together, we decided that a Google Hangout on air might be a really good idea. So I found teachers that were using different blogging platforms, EduBlogger, a couple that are using KidBlog, Blogger, and we set up a time that we were going to do a Google Hangout. I sent an invite to the whole school district so that teachers could join, and we had teachers and principals joining live, submitting their questions, and it was just, a conversation about blogging, and if teachers who couldn't be there live, they were able to watch it later. So that was another really successful form of, professional development that could just happen, when you're at home.
Jenna, one of the questions is, how many teachers took part in the Game Board online PD? Did you advertise?
So this actually was a part of the PD that we require for our Tech 1s and Tech 2s. And so I didn't put it out to everybody. This was kind of like our trial. I only sent it out to those teacher leaders, and a lot of them have already finished their professional development. So I had 6 teachers join, but the work that they submitted was amazing. I got inspired by some of the things that they turned into me. And I actually share their work at different PD things that we do because it's really inspiring.
So one of the things we do when we have a crazy idea, and I probably have too many of them, is we do a lot of pilots in our district. So we don't, if we want to try something like the online PD, we say, okay, yeah, let's pilot that. And we find that using the pilot term now, it just kind of de-emphasizes and makes it less scary. And then if it fails, and we learn something from it. But I think that's a good tip is, if you want to try something, try small, pilot it, see if it works, tweak the things that you need to tweak, and then you can roll it out district-wide.
Okay, so what are some of the things that your districts are doing together? So Andrew and I'll speak to that. So we, like Mary Fran talked about the EdTech Innovation Summit. Andrew and I had been on a committee that put it together through our County Office of Education one year, and the last 2 years we've done it together. We're looking forward to another day. So we pay our teachers to come. I believe it's going to be August 12th. On a Friday, and we're going to be serving breakfast, and we have lots of speakers, and we're offering it to multiple districts, not just Campbell and Union at this point. We've partnered with several neighboring districts and opened it up to anyone who wanted to come. The first year, I think we had 150, last year over 300, and now we're going to go to a new facility that'll accommodate 500.
Yeah, and that just kind of came out of this idea that, hey, let's do something the day before school officially starts, or the day before teachers officially come back. And I originally conceived that we would maybe get 150 teachers, and I think for our district we got about 90 the first year, and then last year I think we had about 120 out of that 400 with the district-wide. And it's been fortunate. We are a whole bunch of elementary school districts that feed into one high school district. So it's been beneficial for the elementary districts to do collaboration with the high school district, especially around what we're doing with technology in the classroom, because as our students move through our classes, they're going to get to the high school district, and they're going to have these expectations of what they're going to be able to do. So the high school district, we keep telling them, you guys need to be ready. And so the collaboration between all of us really, I think, helps move that forward.
We use our tech integration coaches to teach some of the classes that are held that day. They use some of their tech coaches, or tech leads, to lead some of the classes, and Andrew always provides outside resources as well. And we have a keynote speaker that's usually dynamic, and it's usually a great way to start the beginning of the school year and get everyone pumped for the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thankfully, there are organizations like you that you can bring in to help with facilitators. But one of the great things for us is because we've had technology teacher leaders, and we have so many of them, that we can tap them for presenters, and I know you can do the same thing. So your teachers come and present to ours, and ours present to yours. It's really been beneficial. It's developing capacity internally, because we have so many teachers. We could run our own conference for like 3 days with just our teacher presenters at this point, because they've developed to such a high level. And we have some here, you have some here as well. So that's been a great side effect, which I didn't necessarily anticipate when we started down the teacher leader path. We also partner with the County Office of Ed. So one of the key pieces of our professional development opportunities for teachers is we have a great ed tech team out of our county office, and they come in and facilitate after-school academies for us. And so we'll do themed academies around like digital media or iPads or something. And that's 3 after-school sessions that are usually about an hour and a half. And at the end, or sometimes even at the beginning, teachers walk away with some piece of technology that they can use in their classroom. So we try to incentivize that as much as we can.
Yeah, in our district, we use the County Office of Ed for learning circles. And so we were starting to roll out our one-to-one with Chromebooks, and they did the same thing and around bringing the Chromebooks and management and tools and tricks and things like that. So they were excellent. And I know that Andrew encouraged our district to go to the Rockstar Camp. And so last year was the first year we sent a team of teachers to the Rockstar camps. They were our tech leaders. And Andrew also sent his team, so we were all together during that time. So I think that was a really good bridge of the community coming together.
And part of that too is, so we're working on our regular EdTech collaboration meetings. So as districts, we get together, and the tech leaders, EdTech and tech, will break out, and our TOSAs will break out together. And we do it around lunch. So we bring lunch in, feed everybody, try to meet for an hour and a half, and just talk about things that we're doing. How can we collaborate together? And I think that's been really helpful too.
That's been really great. Yeah, our district's really benefited from that. And we do bring our IT guys in, like you said, and our tech TOSAs and some of our leaders. And it's been a great communication and collaboration for us. And we talk about devices that we're rolling out. We're talking about, well, we piloted, 30 of these, but we weren't really happy with them. How about you guys? And, we settled on a flip just recently because we both talked about it and decided that that was the best thing to do. So, so it's been an incredible partnership for our community.
And when we're collaborating as TOSAs, our group has gotten kind of large because we've started including other districts. And so our group has gotten kind of large, and so we kind of run it as an ed camp, right? So we get together and we say, okay, what are the burning topics that we really want to talk about? And then we kind of break up, we take notes, and then we come together and we share what we've talked about. So it's been really cool.
So yeah, actually at those collaboration meetings, we were able to talk about how can our districts offer sort of more specific professional development for our teachers, like directed towards their exact needs. And I know our middle school math teachers have been expressing they have not received a lot of middle school directed professional development in the past years, and especially with tech integration in math, it gets so complex with integrating digital modeling tools like Desmos, things like that. So we really wanted to offer that to them. But then even though I've got a phenomenal TOSA team that I work with, I've got a math tech coach, K5 right there, Ms. Haas. Hi, Ms. Haas. She works with K5 teachers who aren't necessarily using the same tools. So we're not really serving the exact same audience when we're delivering our professional development. So Genevieve and I were able to connect because Jenna works with the middle schools a lot in her district. She's sort of fallen into that niche because we both taught middle school. And so we decided to get together and offer a series of professional developments for our teachers. I surveyed the teachers, saw what their interests and needs were based on the other PDs that we've attended or other conversations we've been having. And we set up a series on formative assessment tools in math, Google Classroom in math, digital modeling with Desmos, a series of really specific professional developments aimed at a very targeted audience. And we wouldn't have had a very large group. You think middle school math, it's about 40 teachers in my district, about the same in her district. We wouldn't have had such a large group to pull from if we didn't buddy up. But the best thing is we also got to pull from the expertise of 2 different districts. So at these collaborative sessions, we have teacher leaders come and share what they're doing in their classrooms. So my teachers get to pull tricks from her teachers, and her teachers get to pull them from my teachers. So it's been a really powerful piece to actually just have this collaboration across districts to be able to target our PD a little bit more. And then also we've been trying to sort of take the PD to the next level. So maybe do you want to speak to the Google Hangouts on air?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, so because not all math teachers can attend our PD, we just decided to record it live and do a Google Hangout on air and then send the link to all of the math teachers in both of our school districts. So we finished our first 2, and we're going on to do one about Desmos later this month, and it's been really successful so far.
In our district, they've asked for this, PD on air, and I've heard some really great feedback from their math Google on air. So thank you so much for doing doing that. So next, we have collaboration between multiple districts, and we have Ben. Woo, 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 woo.
Good morning. I am Ben Cogswell, aka Coach Ben, for you guys out there. Sorry, my voice is a little raspy from our karaoke last night. Thank you guys for having me up here. This is an honor. You guys are awesome in hearing about what you're sharing. I am in Salinas, California, the salad bowl capital of the world, and I am about 60 miles south of their district.
And one of the reasons that we thought it was really important to bring Ben up here is for a long time, Ben was just one of my friends in my pocket, as we like to say in TOSA chat and Connected TL world. We connect in so many ways. We ask each other questions. We give each other support. Before we had even ever met each other, we'd probably learned about 50 things from each other. So we've met at multiple conferences now, and each time it's just great to continue that collaboration. So we thought it was important because if we just limit ourselves to our own district or to just working with the district right next to us, we're missing out on so much that's happening out there.
So how have you been able to connect with other TOSAs outside of your district?
So the biggest thing, and it's scary for some people, but Twitter, of course, has been really a game changer for me, especially as a TOSA. And I know a lot of you guys in the audience are on there, and you're active, and you're participating, and that's great, and you're sharing. And so Twitter really has allowed me to open up my world, and collaboration is all the time, anytime. I mean, even as we're sitting here listening to these amazing things they're sharing, we're collaborating on TOSA Chat and Connected TL, and that has just been very useful. And then, of course, coming to these conferences and meeting people face to face, that makes that connection stronger, and it's something you can take with you.
I also think in terms of how have we been able to collaborate, there's been a couple biggies for teacher leaders, and maybe I'll take one, you take the other.
Yes.
There's a couple networks out here, and I know John Crippo mentioned them the other day in his introduction speech for the keynote speaker. There's these communities that are forming. One of them is Connected TL, and that stands for Connected Teacher Leaders, and they go by hashtag Connected TL. So if you're a Twitter person, they do a chat Tuesday nights at 7, but that hashtag's always flying. If you're not a Twitter person, they have a Voxer group. If you're not a Voxer person, find them at a conference. And what they really try to do is sort of bring about discussions about learning that help us all sort of take it to the next level. Whether you're a teacher leader in the classroom, a TOSA, a principal, a superintendent, just if you want to keep up with what's happening in a teacher leader group, it's a great group to go to. But they also work side by side, that's why we're always hashtag better together, with another phenomenal sort of hub for building your network, which is TOSA Chat. Ben's actually one of the founders of TOSA Chat. Do you want to speak to TOSA Chat?
Yeah, sure. You know, it happened, and there's a lot of new roles out there, and there's a lot of new TOSAs, and it's been called different names a lot of times, and it's been spun around. But for me, there was a need, and I'm a lone person in my district, and how do I connect with other people? What am I doing? What do I have to guidance? You know, we don't all have awesome people above us like Andrew keeping us going, and so that therefore TOSA Chat kind of started and grew organically from a group of us, Carly Mora and Kelly Martin and Joe Young, who's not here, and we just started building a community, and more people joined in, and more people joined in, and more people joined in, and now it is better together. So our chat is Mondays at 8, and like Lindsey said, it's a living hashtag, you know, so you can participate in it anytime you want, whenever you want. You can tweet at us, and we're always down to collaborate and share. So and in either one, it doesn't matter, I think, whether it's TOSA Chat or Connected TL, as long as you're out there and you're finding, you know, your tribe and your people, that's what I think really is important.
Right, so I would say, you know, I'd encourage everyone, you know, even if it's not these groups that you connect with, but everyone to try to get connected, sort of find that hub, you know, in the digital space that can take you beyond your general region, because I think there's so much happening out there, and throughout the day, I'm asked questions, you know, half the time I know the answer to, half the time I don't. I can just pick up my phone and throw out a quick Voxer message or throw out a quick Twitter message to these groups, and I can hear back instantly. And the teachers I work with, they're like, how did you know that? Or, oh, you know I don't know everything. I don't know so much. But when you get connected, that's when you can really know what's going on out there. So I linked both of those groups on the slides there if you're interested in joining those or want to encourage your TOSAs or your teacher leaders to get involved. But like I said, these aren't the only two hubs out there. There's great chats going on with California Ed Chat. I know for administrators, it's Lead Wild, right, is a great place to get connected. So just get connected and hear what's going on out in the bigger picture.
And if you need help, if you're out there in the audience and you're like, what is this Twitter thing? Just ask somebody. You can ask me, you can ask the person sitting next to you. It's scary at first, but it doesn't bite too hard.
Okay, and so if you're like me, I love Twitter, but I really have a hard time keeping up with the Twitter chats because they go by so quickly, and I'm really much more of a relational one-to-one kind of person. And so what I really find helpful for me are ed camps. And so there are ed camps that are on all over California and all through the nation. And so they're free. They're usually on Saturdays. You get together. And again, you put up the topic that you're interested in talking about. And since there are more and more TOSAs out there, there are more and more groups of TOSAs who can meet at ed camps and talk. And again, free, Saturday, very informal. It's great.
Do we have time for me to throw a challenge out to all the IT directors out there?
You throw
Okay.
a challenge, yes.
So here's one thing I do. If my teachers, TOSAs, actually probably anybody in my district has the courage to present at a conference, and they get accepted, I pay their way there. So that's one way to really encourage teachers to get out there and make the connections.
And to be leaders.
And it also shows that you're supporting risk-taking and teachers being advocates and courageous on their own. So I challenge all the tech directors and leaders out there to support your teachers in putting themselves out there and taking that leadership plunge.
Definitely. So there's a couple questions about tech helps and being a tech TOSA and getting called on to fix a printer or the Wi-Fi. We definitely have that in our district, but we have a pretty tight tech help system that we use. And so we're down to about an hour and a half. So if you put in a ticket, you're usually going to see somebody within an hour and a half. So we do have 3 techs that go out to the school sites. I have 12 school sites, and they're each assigned to certain school sites, so they have ownership of that site. They also check in with the tech coach, the tech integration coach of that site, just to make sure that everything's going well. They have the direct connection so that if there is something that's going down or Wi-Fi or anything like that, so that's great. And that's kind of how we address it. And if I see somebody in the hall or they see the tech TOSA, I always say, just say, put in a tech help. It'll probably be faster than me.
So if I had one piece of advice, it would be try not to use the term tech with your tech TOSAs in the title, because it gets confusing. And we really had to clarify that our technology integration TOSAs were not there for fixing stuff that was broken. We ramped up our support, so we actually have a 3-hour on-site tech at every school, as well as district tech support that can go out and support them as well. So it's very important that teachers have support when they're trying to implement technology, and it needs to be almost immediate. But that's not really the role of our TOSAs. Our TOSAs are focused on integrating the technology, not making sure it works or fixing it when it doesn't.
So I saw another question that said, my IT department is sometimes 2 months out. Tell them to talk to us. We sort of have it down to a science now. So if you need help, tell them to reach out to us. We can give them ideas. That's how we get ideas from each other. Andrew's my right-hand guy when it comes to things like that. So definitely reach out to us and we can help you out with that. Are there any other questions? Are there any questions from the audience? Anybody want to ask anything? You guys have been phenomenal on the Today's Meet today. I just want to say it has been rolling. It's been great.
I want to say too, what I'm enjoying from the peaking of the Today's Meet that I'm getting here is it seems like there's a side learning channel happening here on the Today's Meet as well, because you've all started sharing what's happening in your districts too. So keep that conversation rolling. I think let's all get connected. Whether it's via Twitter or email, or we keep this Today's Meet running for the rest of the day, I think that there's a lot of good talk happening here. We certainly don't have it all figured out, but with the collective brain in the room, I think we can get there. Oh, is there one? Which one? Oh, that's a good one. I do not want to answer this one first. What were you most surprised about by becoming a TOSA?
So I kind of went into the TOSA role not completely with a lot of enthusiasm because I really hated leaving my classroom because like I said, like I had my kids doing so much tech in my classroom. I was having so much fun and it was so exciting to see what the kids were doing. And it was like, why would I want to leave this and go into a role where, we actually pushed Chromebook carts into a bunch of classrooms, and there were teachers who were kind of like looking at them saying, I really don't want this. And so I thought, oh my gosh, those are the people that I'm going to be working with. But what was most surprising to me was actually the number of teachers who wanted me to come and help them figure out what to do with their Chromebook cart. And yes, we started out with just opening it up and learning a little bit about Google Docs, but really very quickly, there were a lot of teachers who wanted to go farther. And so for me, it was like so rewarding to know that now I was touching like more students' lives. And so for me, that was the most surprising thing for me.
So if there's no more questions, we're probably going to wrap it up. I just want to say thank you to Ben for coming in from Salinas. Thank you so much. And Lindsey Blass from Campbell, and Jenna from Union, and Mary Fran from Union, and Andrew Schwab for stepping in at the last minute. Thank you so much, and thank you all. And we'll continue to do today's meet. Thank you.